Welcome to You Asked For It, where I try to answer questions people had about some of the things in previous episodes, as well as clarify some of the things that I didn't explain well enough. Am I only driving around town?
All of the old highways here have twists and turns to accommodate the hills that they go through. But these offer some excellent lookout views, so I went for a drive just to find some of the lookout views that I had seen. Along the way, I saw a museum that I wanted to go to, but it was closed at the time. They had some outdoor pictures there, local areas that had been from 1898 through 1910. And I thought they were very interesting to show the history.
Hello and welcome to the Sailing My Magic channel. My name is Duke and I am solo sailing Magic, my 2015 Lagoon catamaran, around the world. Currently I'm in New Zealand and I'm exploring several of the local New Zealand areas, and this episode deals with some of the history going on around me.
In my video regarding the town of Russell, I mentioned the fact that the Christchurch Anglican Church had musket ball holes. Some of them had been filled in and painted over, but people asked why didn't I show them? So here they are in all their glory. People also asked me when I was talking about the Pompier House mission why I didn't talk about the cute little cafe that's next door. So here's the mission and printery, and here's the cafe next door, which serves excellent croissants. New Zealand is a land of great vistas and landscapes. They also talk about the number of boat races that they have. One of the local boat races includes a tall ship category. That's the big old square riggers. Sometimes they say there's more boats in New Zealand than there are people. Anyway, this is the R. Tucker Thompson. Now that's unique because the R. Tucker Thompson serves both as an excursion boat for tourists, but it also races in the tall ship race. So it's unique in that way. There aren't many boats that can claim that. It's quite old. It's a 60-foot schooner. And when you look at the way that it's rigged out here in full sail, and you look closely, it's rigged with pins and very old-fashioned rigging, but it still works well. And I like to see these old ships going when they have the full canvas out. The boat at this point is full of tourists getting ready to go on a day sail, and they also are having that race from the same dock. I got to see both, and here she is with their full sails out. That's a lot of sails. Not all these tourists were on it for that time, although they try to train the tourists on how to operate a ship like this, but it's not something you learn overnight. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's totally free and it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. They also have a category for junks and other tall ships. Race at the beginning. To me, it just looks like chaos. Again, there's the R. Tucker Thompson, which won the tall ships category in the race.
Are there more Maori artifacts? Yes, there are.
The Maori stone clubs were a very effective weapon, and also the carved spears that they had. They had cloaks that were both protective and warming, and they did use some wooden clubs. That's in both the paintings and in the physical exhibits that they have. It's the same club. The Maori did have great big paddles like you would expect to see in regular canoes, but I think they preferred the ones that were part paddle and part spear. The Maori can weave just about anything. Here's a woven belt, and here are several pouches woven or with kiwi feathers, other woven and decorated with other feathers. Sailor Jerry is a spiced rum It's named in honor of Norman Collins, who was in the Navy and then became a tattoo artist in Hawaii. He's famous for his hula girls. He was nicknamed Jerry by his parents, who had a donkey named Jerry, and sometimes Norman acted like an ass. Another common drink on many of the islands is a flat white, which is somewhat like a latte with a little less foam. I was also asked if I had changed my beard. At one time I had a full beard, and I changed back to a goatee and mustache, which I had before that. Anchor rock with the great big hole in it, and it also has a carving of a boat similar to the one that Captain Cook used to come to the islands, and another carving that's similar to the ones the Maoris used to come to the islands. And you can see from this photo it's very similar to what they're now using. I found this other statue, which is pretty interesting, but I can't quite figure out what it is. I suspect it's a hawk-billed turtle head, but I couldn't really tell you. Now this is the Christmas tree, somewhat like an American bottle brush tree, but the flowers are a little bit different. I don't know if they're related, but here we have a sandcastle contest on the beach over at Russell, and this cannon that I showed before actually was brought to here as ballast on another ship, and eventually they wanted to use it for self-defense. I was asked how old those canoes were in the other episode, and those big war canoes, despite this painting, were actually produced in 1940. That's 80 years. This beautiful tiled walkway was over by the entrance to the ferry in Pahia. I was asked if there are true antiques around, and yes, there are, such as this. But that doesn't mean that the main street is antique looking. It's fairly modern, despite some of the buildings being older. I also like these stainless steel fish. The glitter or shine of the stainless steel, to me it makes them look more realistic, like shiny real fish. And you can get the colors to just pop right out at you. So quite pretty. The joinery in this table was very interesting to keep the two halves together.
There are multiple waterfalls in this area. I believe there are 6 of them. And I was asked which one I thought was the prettiest.
And what I thought was the prettiest waterfall was Rainbow Falls. Please click on like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it does help me with YouTube. But now it's time for the Sailor's Delight, the Sundowner. Have a great time.